You know that feeling, right? You've got this amazing idea, a huge goal, but you just can't start because you're not feeling it. We're always told to just wait for motivation to strike. But what if that's the very advice that's holding us back? Today, we're going to dig into a system that completely flips that script, putting action way ahead of emotion. So, let me just ask you this. Does your progress pretty much depend on your mood? You have those days where you're on fire, and then nothing. Days where you can't even get started. It's a super frustrating cycle. But here's the thing, there's a way to break that chain between feeling good and actually getting stuff done. Okay, so let's dive into the core problem here. This whole idea that we have to feel motivated before we can ever take action. And this right here really reframes it perfectly. We think of motivation as this powerful, consistent fuel, but really, it's just an emotion. And just like any other emotion, it comes and goes. It's totally unpredictable. You just can't build a reliable system on something that might not even show up for work in the morning. So here's the bottom line. When we make motivation the gatekeeper to getting things done, we're building our entire future on a foundation of sand. We're literally giving our passing moods the power to veto our most important goals. It's a recipe for inconsistency. So if motivation is the unreliable friend who always cancels plans, what's the alternative? Well, this is where we bring in a much, much more powerful concept, momentum. This chart just lays out the difference so clearly. Motivation, it's a flash in the pan. It needs you to feel good, it's totally unreliable, and it's all about the end goal. Momentum, on the other hand, that's like a giant, heavy flywheel. Sure, it's a little harder to get it started, but once it's spinning, it's incredibly consistent. It's designed to work even when you feel terrible. And notice that last point, it's identity-focused. That's the secret sauce, and we're going to get to that next.
And this is what it's all about. This is the whole point. We need a system that kicks in precisely on those days, the low energy, high doubt, I don't wanna days. That's when momentum proves its worth, because that's when motivation has already packed its bags and left town. So how in the world do we build this unstoppable flywheel of momentum? Well, the key is to stop staring at the finish line. We need to shift our focus inward to something way more fundamental. I mean, think about it. We're always told to set these huge, ambitious goals. And yeah, goals are great for direction, but when you're at the bottom of the mountain looking up, it can feel absolutely paralyzing. It doesn't actually give you the fuel to take that first step. So instead, the focus completely shifts. It moves away from the external result and onto the kind of person who achieves that result. It becomes an internal change. You stop chasing some prize at the end and you start becoming a new version of yourself. And this is the whole game changer, right here. You stop trying to get motivated to write a book, and you start seeing yourself as a writer. You stop trying to find the energy to go to the gym, and you start identifying as an active person. It seems like a small mental switch, but trust me, it is incredibly powerful. Okay, this whole identity shift thing sounds great, but what does it actually look like in real life? How do you do it? Let's get practical. Here's the secret. It's so simple. You don't have to become the world's greatest novelist overnight. Nope. You just adopt the identity of someone who shows up a little. That's it. That's the whole job. The focus isn't on how much you do, but on the simple, repeatable act of just showing up. And this slide just shows how ridiculously manageable this is. Look at this. The goal isn't to run a 5K. It's just to put on your running shoes and open the door. That's the win for the day. It's not about writing 1,000 words. It's about writing one sentence, or reading one paragraph, or washing one dish. Every single action is so small it almost feels silly, which is exactly the point. See, by making the starting line laughably easy to cross, you completely remove the need for motivation. You don't need to be inspired to wash one single dish. And in doing that one tiny thing, you're giving that big, heavy flywheel its first tiny push. That's how momentum is born. All right, let's bring it all home. Let's talk about the new mindset that this entire system creates. It's a mindset of taking action without ever waiting for permission from your own feelings. If you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. The entire goal is to cut the cord between how you feel and what you do. It's about making sure your progress is never, ever held hostage by your mood again. And that is the incredible freedom this system gives you.
Your actions finally become a conscious choice you make, not an emotional reaction you wait for. You are back in the driver's seat, no matter what the emotional weather is like that day. So I'll just leave you with this question. Just think about it. What could you build? What could you create? What kind of person could you actually become if you had a system that worked every single day, not just on the good ones? What happens when you stop waiting for permission and you just start showing up?